transition on Atlantic Television Network. Appeal court in Port Harcourt has scheduled a ruling for Friday, June 14, 2024 regarding a case filed by Martin Amewule on behalf of 26 others challenging the decision of the Rivers State High Court which favored Victor Oko-Jumbo, the Speaker of the House of Assembly. Previously, Justice Dagogo Jackson of the State High Court ruled in favor of Oko-Jumbo in a suit that restrained Amewule and 26 others from performing any legislative functions and vacated their seat as speakers and members of the State House of Assembly. An interlocutory injunction was also granted against Amewule and the 26 others, which has now been consolidated in the appeal. The three-judge panel of the appeal court, led by Justice Jimmy Olukayode Dabada, after hearing arguments from both parties on Thursday, announced their readiness to deliver a ruling on the matter and instructed all counsels to be present in court by 9 a.m. on Friday, June 14, 2024. Should the appeal court rule in favor of Amewule, all laws and bills passed by him and other members will be validated and they will resume their legislative functions. National Executive Committee of One Rivers Student Coalition has held Governor Siminalayi Fubara on one-year anniversary celebration describing the governor's administrations as student-inclusive governance. Director General of One Rivers Coalition, Engineer Ishmael Ofiribika, said National Union of Rivers Students will be inclusive in the administration of governors. Coordinator, One River Students Coalition and Coordinator of National Association of Nigerian Students Zone B South, Comrade Levi Sam Okuru, while speaking with Atlantic TV News, thanked the Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, for his successful one-year anniversary celebration, which he said was characterized by people-centered project. NURSS personnel donation to Governor Sim due to the Governor's passion to students NURSS. In a shocking and unbelievable at the Nigerian town opposite Bill Waterfront, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, where a mother of three, named withheld at the age of 38, pulled her first son and had an offensive sex with him. Confirming the report to ATN News, CDC Chairman of Nigerian Town Community, Mr. Samson Isaac, said that in the incident involved a 38-year-old woman and the mother of the three children who committed the sin with her son and in Asari Tori local government area of Rivers State. The security outfit said the feat was achieved by its marine anti-vandal squad after a 4 hours operational tour on water across the two coastal communities. NSCDC spokesman, River State Command Superintendent Olufemi Ayodele, said its operative successfully uncovered the illegal bunkering sites through credible and sustained intelligence, with the NSCDC Commandant General Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Hudi gave a marching order to the formation in the Niger Delta to step up the intelligence and operational efficiencies in a fight against oil theft and illegal oil bunkering activities. He expressed worry about how the miscreant devised a new means of converting transport company in Yenagoa Bayelsa State. The manager, identified as Amuelu Aliyu, was shot and killed at about 8 p.m. on Tuesday around the House of Assembly complex at Marata, Yenagoa, by suspected assassins who allegedly made away with the money he made that day, while the killing spread fear in the state capital as residents sought answers to what they saw as a deteriorating security situation in the state. Meanwhile, addressing journalists on Thursday, in his office in Yenagoa, the Commissioner of Police, Aloyeun Idu, said that an investigation is ongoing to unravel the circumstances surrounding the death and assured that the families of the deceased will soon get justice as the police were conducting investigations in both Bayelsa and Plateau states, saying they are at its new station. Chairman of the Abia State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, Alwell Asifuro Okere, has congratulated people of the state on its year's celebration of Democracy Day. He boasted that the PDP's built the present democratic foundation that Abia people are now enjoying, which describes itself as a shadow government in Abia State, vowed to scrutinize the present administration in the state by holding it accountable. AMA and party boasters that its call for transparency led to the recent of the Abia State Commissioner for Health. The PDP, which further boasted that it was marching towards the promised land, vowed to criticize everything it believes is not done right in the state of the nation's wealth, adding that the poor are hungry and impatient, and urged governors nationwide and other elected officials to quote Westfola Abiola, their George Abimbola Akinjolo.
No one is oppressed.
Let's speak to Nigerians to hear whether President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has actually fulfilled his promises made for the past 1 year in office.
Comrade James, one of the things that Tinubu achieved so far, number one, he was able to hold to the pressure of NLC. What did I mean by this? I'm a very pragmatic person. I've been Tinubu increased that minimum wages that NLC are clamoring for. We will end up buying one loaf of bread, 10,000 naira, because the economy will just crash. Okay, now, why I gave him kudos for that is that civil servants are clamoring for that kind of high money. What of the conventional or ordinary Nigeria who is not doing anything? When the bread went to 10,000 naira, what are they going to eat? So that is one of his achievements. Then again, I actually expected more from him, but along the line, I don't want to say that he's not meeting up the expectation. I want to believe that he's coming up, because Nigeria need more. Our economy is crashing, and we need to revamp that economy.
My name is John Nantem, a common man. You know, in terms of this economy we're passing through, according to my own opinion, he couldn't have touched this fuel price first until he take an action in terms of this refinery, fix one among these old ones, or do a new one. Okay, if you ask me that, okay, maybe like Nigeria is having challenges in terms of financial issue, or they borrow money, they haven't paid. When you look into the whole thing, all this money they retrieve from all these people that stole the money, we are hearing it. They recover so millions, they recover so millions, they recover so millions. All those money could have channeled to one refinery to make this fuel price cheaper for poor masses. Because a common man in Nigeria, the only thing he benefits from government is this fuel subsidy. It makes transportation easy for them, and security. So he could have worked on that. In terms of this food price, this food stuff that is expensive now, this fuel price contribute to it. Because if you carry your corn, maybe rice from a farm, they are telling you, okay, you pay 10,000 to bring it to town to sell. If you transport it to town, definitely, instead of you selling it 5,000, you have to sell it 15,000 to cover up the expenses.
I'm by name Suleiman Garba. Actually, we are disappointed. I cannot say we do have hope, but we are disappointed. If I can remember correctly about the manifestation of the president during the campaign, is renew hope, I think, to transform Nigeria. So I talk about the transformation. I don't know what exactly the transformation this administration is going, because things are getting worse and worse. Let me be frank to you. I cannot see things I know are going to get better. Maybe in future we do have hope for that. But actually the present administration have to look at the situation of the country. What is happening is rampant. Everybody, both the poor and the average people in the society are suffering a lot. Let me give you an example about electricity bill, which is recent development that everybody has experienced it. Oh my God, this thing is consuming a lot of small-scale businesses. A lot of small-scale business has collapsed because of the electricity bill. To the extent that the PSCN and the present administration cannot settle to come down to see how they can be able to help small-scale business to cope up with the present situation of the economy. The situation is getting worse. For my example, for my shop, I used to buy electricity almost 10,000 naira. I'm a tailor fashion designer. So a 10,000 naira electricity unit is not enough for me per day. To which if I calculate everything, the electricity bill I pay in a year is times 4 of my shop rent.
Joseph Moses, ATN News, Abuja.
Troops of the Nigerian army has killed an infamous terrorist, Buharin Yadi, one of the alleged deadliest bandit leaders terrorizing northern Nigeria in the last decade. Overseeing Commissioner, Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Kaduna State, Samuel Aruwan, said the troop of Sector 6 Operation Well Punch rained down fire on the kingpin known as Buhari Halaji Alidu and his cohorts, terminating their spell of terror. Aruwan said the troops began the covert operations in response to intelligence report on the terrorist environment from Samuka, Sulawa area of Katsina State, adding that the troops found the settlement destroying the cattle killed, including the evidence of recent criminal activity by the bandits. According to him, the merciless bandit was also known to have linked with other deadliest terrorist groups in the northeast and northwest. Taraba State Governor Agbo Kefas has commended the payment of the compensation to the landowners in Wokari Local Government Council of the state. The beneficiaries, numbering 182, are owners of the land where the Federal University of Wokari is coming after the landowners had dragged the state government and the management of the university to the State High Court for alleged refusal to pay compensations for the lands which were acquired from them 12 years ago. Confirming the commencement of the payment on Thursday, the landowners lawmakers PM Shagan said the payment is being executed in first and explained that the governor is committed to paying off the debt acquired by previous regime, stressing that he has approved and released funds for the commencement of payment to the beneficiaries. Also confirming the commencement of the payment, the Secretary of the Beneficiary Association, Bawa Bakau Bawa Odi, said the present government responded to their plight by releasing funds that have since been disbursed to beneficiaries as phased installments. Federal High Court sitting in Kano has ruled that it has the jurisdiction to preside over the case of human rights violation brought by disposed Kano Emir Aminu Ado Bayero and the senior councillor Aminu Baba Dan Agundi. Following the reinstatement of the Emir Mohammedu Sanusi II, the court has granted an ex partes order stopping Governor Abba Kabiri Yusuf of Kano from reinstating Sanusi pending the determination of the substantive suits filed against his reinstatement, while the order also kicked against the abolishment of 4 emirates, Bichi, Gaye, Karaye, and Rano in a bill earlier passed by the State House of Assembly. It's directed all parties involved to maintain status quo and pending the determination of the suit filed by Sakrin Dawaki Baba and Aminu Baba Amin Dan Agundi, while Justice Lamian granted leave to the plaintiff's applicants to issue and serve their concurrent originating motions as well as other court proceedings on the 6 defendants. Inspector General of Police in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, outside the jurisdiction of the court. The other defendants in the suit are the Kano State Governor, Kano State House of Assembly, the Speaker of a State Assembly, the Kano State Commissioner of Police, as well as the Inspector General of Police. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps and the Department of State Security. Justice Laman also said all parties are ordered to maintain status quo and in the passage and absence of the bill, stressing that parties are hereby ordered to maintain status quo and pending hearing of the fundamental right application. You are watching The Transition on Atlantic Television Network. We return after this break. Welcome back. This is Transition on Atlantic Television Network. Now the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu will on Friday receive a draft bill seeking a return to the regional system of government for Nigeria. The proposed legislation authorized by the chieftains of the Yoruba Social-Cultural Association, Afinifere Akindapokunda, entitled A Bill for an Act to Substitute the Annexure to Decree 2024 of 1999. With new governance model for the Federal Republic of Nigeria, seeking among others new extant law to be cited as the constitutions of the Federal Republic of Nigeria new governance model for Nigerian Act 2024. This is coming after the bill was disowned by the House of Representatives, whose spokesman Akin Rotimi and the Chairman Committee on Rules and Business, adding that they had not been listed for deliberation in the ongoing moves to review the 1999 Constitution as amended. President Bola Tinubu says that he did not says what he did at Eagle Square on Wednesday while celebrating the 2024 Democracy Day was Dobale. Dobale is a Yoruba term for prostration and did not sleep and stumble at the ground as many might interpreted it, but did what every traditional Yoruba boy would do on such occasion, Dobale. Comrade captured President Bola stumbling as he climbed a paraded vehicle during the June 12 celebration at Eagle Square in Abuja.
Of Nigerian Labour Congress is still ongoing. So the presidential statement is like a law which ought not to be ridiculed.
Speaker House of Representatives Honorable Tajuddin Abbas is calling on governors and civil social organizations have called on Nigerians to continue to participate in the electoral process to deepen democracy in the country. Nigeria marks Democracy Day on June 12 to mark the 1993 presidential election acclaimed to have been won by the chief MKO Abiola, adding that from 1999 till 2018, Nigeria was marking Democracy Day on May 29, but ex-President Muhammadu Buhari in 2018 officially changed the Democracy Day to June 12. The change was made to recognize the sacrifice of those who fought for democracy, including Abiola, and to commiserate the struggles against military rules that ultimately led to Nigeria's current democratic governance. A statement issued and signed by his special advisor, Media and Publicity, Musa Kirishi, Abbas said Nigeria evolved in the past 25 years, adding that the dividends of democracy are bound to reach more Nigerians. Analyst says President Tinubu's speech on Democracy Day concerning the Nigerian Labour Congress over the new minimum wage is still something to hope for. Speaking on Atlantic Television Blowout, a public affairs analyst Ekinye said the president's communique concerning the federal government's position with the Nigerian Labour Congress is civil.
If a discussion is ongoing, he has said we are on it because this is one of the matters that Nigerian workers expect that the president should claim knowledge of, which he affirmed. So for him to categorically come up and say, this is the amount we are going to pay or thereabout, which you know is still in view. So I think the president has not done.
In view of the current administration and the dividends of democracy, Ekinye spoke on the development.
God for our democracy, we believe that we will get better.
Okay.
And I remind you, this is a government of hope.
This is coming after President Tinubu's Democracy Day speech, which citizens have described as unrelated and just history. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has urged Nigerians to remain optimistic in the face of ongoing challenges and to support the armed forces of Nigeria in combating terrorism and criminal activities. He also pledged his loyalty and that of his personnel to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Bola Tinubu, adding that the military under him would work to strengthen democracy in the country. Adding that despite the military's acclaimed accomplishment over the past years in its fight against terrorism and other vices, many regions of the country have continued to experience insecurity. The Acting Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Tuko Kushu, quoted the CDS to have stated this in a statement issued by to commemorate the Democracy Day celebration and also appeal to all Nigerians to remain positive towards the challenges being faced and to support the AFN in the fight against all acts of terrorism and criminality. Musa commended the sacrifice of troops across the country and urged them to uphold the tenets of democracy. Analysts have stressed on the need for collaboration between the public and private sector towards restructuring of Nigeria's educational system. Speaking on Atlantic Television Society Watch, a public affairs analyst, World Oduyemi, said Collaboration is key in recurring and meeting up with piercing educational trends in the world.
Son, experience is not one-off experience. Even after university or higher education of learning, there are forums. The reason why you have seminars, trainings, and retrainings is to better dust off and compare notes with better and new ways of doing things. And this can only come by through consistent collaborative initiatives that will better enhance the educational system of any given society.
Well, Todiemi also said a call from the United Nations on education is to secure and safeguard the future of Nigeria and its citizenry.
If you limit the troubles that your inactiveness is creating now, because your less involvement and going all out to dissipate necessary resources to see you through, now you may be thinking that you are saving cost, but apparently you are building a major, bigger problem in the future. So some persons who organization as the one representing the UN in this fashion, part of the reason they may come up with this prompting is
This is coming after the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations called on governments at all levels around the world to take the lead in education. Head of Service says the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Ibrahim Lamoua, has been suspended over sexual harassment allegation. The head of service Folashide Yemi Hassan said the Permanent Secretary would be on suspension pending the outcome of the probe in the allegation against him. This is coming after the petition submitted by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, against Lamoua, while the head of service constituted a committee to look into the matter. The complaint in the petition submitted by the Tuga was one Simisola Ajayi, who accused Lamoua of serial sexual harassment, while Ajayi, in the petition filed by her lawyer, Femi Falana, outlined alleged instance of harassment in a letter addressed to the head of service on May 27, 2024. Toga expressed his concern over the serious nature of the allegation involving the Permanent Secretary. National Association of Nigerian Students says it has rejected a bill seeking a single term of 6 years for the president and state governors, describing it as anti-democratic and an attempt to steal citizens' choices. This is coming after 35 members of the House of Representatives under the auspice of the reform-minded legislator had last week proposed a bill seeking a single term of 6 years for the president and state governors. The lawmakers are equally seeking for rotation of the presidency among the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, arguing that the preposition, if implemented, would lead to the reduction in the cost of governance. NANS has reacted to the bill, called on Nigerians, pro-democracy groups, organized labor and trade union to mobilize against the bill. Speaking at the press conference in Abeokuta, Ogun State on Thursday, the National Clerk of the Senate of NANS, Yakini Adewale, described the bill as a smokescreen to divert the attention of Nigerians from the current economic pains and agonies that Nigerians are facing, and threatened to mobilize students across the country in a protest against the bill, while stressing that if the bill is passed into law, it will stop accountability, probity, as well as transparency and responsibility on the part of political leaders. And now to business news. Organized labor has rejected President Bola Tinubu's claim that an agreement has been reached on a new national minimum wage in his nationwide broadcast to Make Democracy Day. Tinubu said a consensus has been reached on the long-debated new minimum wage between the federal government and the organized labor. He disclosed this in a national broadcast to mark the 2024 Democracy Day in Abuja, adding that an executive will soon be sent to the National Assembly to formalize the new minimum wage agreement, adding that his administration chose a democratic approach over dictatorship in addressing the demands of labor unions. A statement by the acting president of Nigerian Labour Congress, Prince Adewale Adeyanju, said there was no agreement reached by the Tripartite Committee on the National Minimum Wage at the time negotiations ended on Friday, June 7, 2024. This response comes after President Tinubu's address, which indicated a resolution has been achieved on the wage discussions, hereby causing confusion and discontent among the rank of organized labor, and urged the president on his plans to fix the economic so that everyone has access to economic opportunity, fair pay, and compensation for its endeavors and labor. Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries says Nigerians' average crude oil production in May dropped to 1.25 million barrels per day from 1.28 million barrels recorded in April 2024. This presents a decline of 2.34% compared to 1.28 million BPD recorded in the previous month of April, and the data is from the OPEC monthly oil market report from May. However, adding to secondary sources, OPEC reported that Nigeria's crude oil production increased by 774,000 barrels from 1.34 million BPD to 1.41 million BPD in May, and the total crude oil supply by OPEC Plus members hit 40.9 million barrels per day. Accordingly, the total non-OPEC crude oil production averaged 14.29 million barrels per day in May 2024, 152,000 barrels per day lower month on month, with crude oil output increasingly mainly in Mexico, while production in Russia and Kazakhstan decreased, while global demand for oil and the average price in May remains consistent with the previous month, showing worldwide growth in demand for crude oil at 2.2 million barrels per day. In May, the average crude oil price, according to the OPEC reference basket, decreased by $5.53 or 6.2% month on month, averaging 83.59 dollar per barrel, while oil futures price also saw a decline, with the Intercontinental Exchange Brent front month contracts dropping by $6.00 or 6.7% to the average of 83.00 per barrels. In view of efforts to monetize Nigerian vast natural gas resources, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has executed a project development agreement with Goba NLG LNG for the deployment of floating liquefied natural gas offshore in the Niger Delta. The signing ceremony was attended on the NNPC Limited side by the Chief Financial Officer Omar Ajiya, Executive Vice President Gas Power and New Energy, as well as Olalekan Ogunleye, and Executive Vice President of Spring Otisemiwa Ayesan, while the Gola LNG team was led by Karel Frederick Subo. A statement by the NNPC spokesperson Olufemi Ogunseye said the agreement was another major milestone achievement towards ensuring gas commercialization through the development of the FLNG facility in Nigeria. In line with President Bola Tinubu's resolve to rapidly commercialize Nigeria's gas assets for the economic property of the nation. World Bank said the Central Bank of Nigeria's monetary policy tightening may not effectively control inflation. In the Global Economic Prospects report, the institution says one of the significant risks to Nigeria's economic growth is a failure of the tightening policy to rein in inflation. While the CBN's aggressive interest rate hike, inflation remains a significant challenge for the country. The monetary policy rate has increased by 750 base points since February, reaching 26.25% in May, and the World Bank warned that this may not be enough to address the issues. The reports predict that Nigeria's economic growth will remain modest at 3.3% this year and 3.5% in 2025, while the non-oil economic is expected to experience sustained growth, while the oil sector is expected to mobilize as production recovers. The World Bank also highlights the issues of public debt in sub-Saharan Africa, which is expected to remain evaluated over the forecast period, adding that if global interest rates remain high, debt service costs for countries in the region may rise, as well as increasing the risk of government debt distress. Still ahead, international tidbits. Over 1.5 million pilgrims across the world presently in Saudi Arabia are now set for the year's Hajj rite, which will begin on Friday with movement from Makkah to Muna ahead of their Arafat Day on Saturday. Specifically, a total over 1 million pilgrims, according to the report by the General Directorate of the Passport, as quoted by the Saudi, came into the country through its air, land and sea ports as at the end of Monday, June 10 deadline for closure of entering to perform this year's holy pilgrimage. Meanwhile, the official spokesman for Saudi Ministry of Health, Dr. Mohammed Al-Abdullahi, has warned that the major challenge facing this year's Hajj session is a significant rise in the temperature, and advised pilgrims to adhere to the ministry's health guidelines, including carrying umbrellas to avoid direct sun exposure, drinking sufficient amounts of water, and take rest period between rituals to reduce fatigue and heat stresses. He also said the measures were meant to ensure the safety and health of pilgrims during the performance of Hajj rituals, adding that the ministry is making all effort to provide a health and safe environment for pilgrims in the harsh climatic conditions. The Saudi Arabian authorities earlier announced the arrival of approximately 1.2 million pilgrims from various countries around the world for the 2024 Hajj, while the country's Minister of Hajj and Umrah, Tawfiq Al-Rabah, also assured that all stages of their journey has proceeded smoothly and that the pilgrims are in excellent health. India's foreign ministry says 40 Indians are among 49 people killed in a fire at the residential building in Kuwaiti city of Magav. The fire broke out in a building where dozens of workers stay, and video shares on social media shows flame engulfing the lower part of the buildings and thick black smoke blowing from the upper floors. Authorities said many of the casualties are from the southern India states of Kerala and Tamil Nadu, while 50 Indians have also been injured. Filipino and Nepali workers are also among the injured. 23rd of the Kuwait population is made up of the foreign minister workers, and the country is highly dependent on migrant labor, especially in the construction and democratic sector, while Hamas rights groups have regularly raised concern over their living condition. Kuwaiti Deputy Prime Minister Sheikh Hafad Yusuf Al-Sabah accused property owners of greed and violations of building standard, which led to the tragedy. And that's the size of the package. Thanks for joining us. I am Immaculata Irikana. Join us on all our media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television.